First of all, I would like to thank to the organizing committee for letting me to join this important conference. In this session, I will to present our experiment dealing with the seedling of Ficus septica with the title of The Influence of IBA Co-application on Seedling Growth of 3 types of awar-awar or Ficus septica cutting origin. Background. Awar-awar or Ficus septica belong to the Moraceae family or karet-karetan. It is well-known plant that are easily found in the Java Island, Sumatra, and Kalimantan Island. This plant distributed from Southern Asia to southern China and Japan, eastern part of West Malaysia to the East Australia, and many locations in Pacific Island. This plant used traditionally for several kinds of ailments and for other health purposes. The leaves of Ficus septica exhibited to many chemical constituents which have many biological activities. Recently, the awar-awar leaves have been clinically studied as adjuvant therapy for anti-cancer purpose. In the other side, to fulfill the needs of raw material for herbal preparation, awar-awar leaves still obtained from the collecting of wild plants. To guarantee the sustainable supply of awar-awar leaves, it is important to grow Ficus septica intensively. For cultivation, the availability of quality seed is a major requirement. Ficus septica naturally reproduce using seed, so it takes a long time to obtain large number of seedlings. Vegetative propagation of plants has several advantages compared to generative propagation. The cutting origin and plant growth regulator are known to have important role in seedling growth. This research will evaluate the effective of various level IBA concentration on the different cutting origin will be carried out to obtain the best growth of Ficus septica seedling. Method. The research was carried out at greenhouse of the Medicinal Plant and Traditional Medicine Research and Development Center, Tawangmangu, from December 2019 until April 2020. In this research, we used 3 kinds of Ficus septica cutting origin, namely shoot, middle, and base stem. The treatment used plant growth regulator IBA with 4 levels concentration as follows: 0 or control, 100 ppm, 200 ppm, and 400 ppm as well. Result and discussion. The first parameter of cutting growth that measured was the percentage of cutting growth which is observed until the age of 2 months after planting. This parameter was determined to measure the ability of the cuttings to achieve full growth, which observed from the ability of cutting to form the shoot and root. This study showed that the origin of the material affect the success of the growth of awar-awar cutting. Cutting from the base and middle of the stem have a low growth rate of only 45%, while the shoot stem cutting show a higher growth success of 72.5%. The growth rate of shoot cutting, which was better than stem cutting in the experiment, was more influenced by cutting material factors, which significantly affected the percentage of survival, number of buds or shoot, and number of root cutting. Cutting with a higher carbohydrate content and low nitrogen content will produce more shoot and less root formation. This is the figure 2 histogram of the influence of cutting origin to the number of shoot and leaves of Ficus septica cutting. The mean value accompanied by the same letter at the same parameter show no significant difference according to the DRMRT test level of 5%. The origin of the cutting material affect the shoot growth and number of leaves of Ficus septica cutting. Cutting from the middle of the stem have the highest number of shoot and number of leaves, though these results were not significantly different from the stem-based cutting. The leaves and stem portion of the cutting will affect to the physiological process within the cutting which is affected to the cutting growth. This is the table 1. It is so the result of the shoot length parameters observation. Based on the analysis of variance, it was exhibited that the treatment of cutting origin and the concentration of IBA had a significant effect on shoot length, but there is no interaction effect between the two treatments. Cutting from the base of the stem or old stem produced the longest shoot, 13.195 cm, while IBA concentration of 100 ppm gave sprout growth reaching 14.2 cm. The effect of the cutting origin and the IBA concentration on shoot growth of Ficus septica cutting can see in the following table. This is figure 3, so the result of the root length observation. The parameter of root length was determined by measuring the length of the root in 14 weeks after planting. The study revealed that cutting origin has no strong influence to the root formation of Ficus septica cutting. IBA concentration was affected to the growth of root of Ficus septica cuttings by dose-dependent manner. The higher concentration of IBA stimulates the longer of root growth of Ficus septica cutting. Longest root, 16.32 cm, were observed at IBA concentration of 400 ppm, but this value was not significantly different with the IBA concentration of 200 ppm. This is the figure 4 histogram of the influence of IBA concentration on the root weight of different cutting origin of Ficus septica. The treatment followed by the same method did not show a significant difference based on the DMRT test at 5% level. Root weight was determined by measure of the root weight in 45 weeks after planting. This parameter was measured to evaluate the effect of various concentration of IBA on the success of rooting of 3 types of awar-awar cutting. Figure 4 exhibited that the highest of root weight of Ficus septica cutting, namely 18.07 grams, obtained by the treatment of 200 ppm IBA concentration on the middle stem cutting origin. Even though the result of this treatment were not significantly different from the other 3 treatments, namely A1P3, A3P2, and A3P3. Root growth is not only influenced by soil condition, but also strongly influenced by the growth of the above ground parts such as shoot and leaves. In this study, it was found that the cutting with more shoot and leaves resulted in a better root growth and therefore had greater work. Conclusion. From the research, we can conclude that the middle stem cutting with 200 ppm IBA concentration were able to produce better Ficus septica seedling growth. That's all my presentation, and thank you for your kind attention.